Hi there, Leo. Welcome to your October 2023 General Tarot reading. It's Rena here. Let's see about October. Oh, wow. Pretty intense. But you do have the Scorpio energy is in your fourth house. So that is your home front. And that is a water house. So those cups, it makes sense on that level. Ooh, justice card. Okay, justice will be served. So, um, there was a full moon in Aquarius at the beginning of August. And that, that's your seventh house. That may have impacted something with relationship or at least got the ball rolling. Because the heart of the matter is the Eight of Cups. This is the card of leaving behind what no longer serves you, what no longer is emotionally fulfilling for you. So, like I would say, that's something that is front and center in terms of what is represented by relationships that have run their course, and just a job that no longer is fulfilling for you, because Leo people, you're very passionate people, you're emotional because of the things that matter to you, and you want life to be meaningful, to be about something, not to just be mundane. You want to bring that pizzazz to life. So anything that feels empty is not going to, cut it for you in the long term. Maybe you might put up with it for a while, but not eventually. The card that represents the past position is the Empress. And so that can be this can be like the catalyst for that Eight of Cups. Now, I'm not saying that you are walking away from something right now, but you may feel like you want to. The Empress card is a card of the Earth Mother. It's a card of the creative. So a person who is, Leo is a naturally creative sign. And if you have been in a dry type of profession, maybe you're an accountant, maybe you're, even if you're a teacher and you have like a lot of ability to utilize some of that creativity in your job, it still may not be enough for you. And you may have this creative dream that you feel like you have to like drop everything to pursue, because with the Eight of Cups, the person is leaving behind maybe a life. It can be like a spiritual quest. And these things can show up in different ways. For some people, it can be leaving, maybe it's a long-term job, a lucrative job. But the person is like, I can't do this one more day. I just can't, I just don't have the desire for this anymore. And I have to let it go. And someone else might say, oh, you're crazy. But really, if we acknowledge that we only have so many years on this planet, why would we settle for less? Why would we just kind of go through the motions so that you can make more money that you can't take with you anyway when you leave this world? What is the point eventually? So there might be something that's connected to like a spiritual awakening, maybe, or just some kind of like thing, a goal that you want to pursue that you can't do so with your current situation. I guess it could be too with relationships too. Like if you are just not happy. But the Empress can be somebody who's pregnant. Um, so that could be a little bit tricky. If you are carrying somebody else's child and you just can't bear to be with them, and you feel like if I stay with this person, I'm going to just be stuck in this situation. So that complicates things. Or if you're a man and maybe you're with someone who you have um, impregnated and you feel like, oh, I'm supposed to be with that person because she's going to give birth, and yet you don't want to be, you may walk away. Um, Hopefully not, just completely abandoning the baby or whatever, but from the relationship itself. Like that is not enough for you to stay, in other words. And I was going to say, because the word that came into my mind was being trapped for a man. Like if you feel like a woman trapped you, like she um, said she was on birth control and she wasn't. And the reason that I hesitated to use that is because it is a bit sexist, because it implies that, a man isn't like this, you know, fully functioning um, being that is responsible for his own contraception, not reliant on somebody else's contraception, and if he doesn't want to bring a life into the world either. So anyway, whatever. But yeah, and in some cases that might have been the last straw, because you feel as if this person is manipulative and trying to hook you in, and you're not going to allow it. But I have a feeling that there is some kind of physical thing going on with that person, where even if you don't really love that person, or unfortunately, even in some cases, respect them, you are still attracted to them and having physical relations with them. And that may have even led to an a pregnancy that was maybe on your end unwanted. I will say too that it doesn't even have to be that this is that type of situation. The person may want to get pregnant. I was thinking of Eat, Love, and Eat, Love, Pray, where what was her name? Gilbert. That's her last name. I can't think of her first name. When she was with someone who was a really nice person, but she was like miserable, and she didn't want to be in that marriage, but she couldn't imagine breaking up with him because he was so nice and they had such a perfect life. So how could she do such a thing? And then he wanted children, and then that was it. That was when she realized that she couldn't live a lie anymore, because then she would be bringing a child into that, and there was no way she was going to do that. So sometimes that's a tipping point. The higher message is the Five of Cups. This is a card of mourning the loss of something. So hopefully this isn't like a miscarriage, and that miscarriage was that just showed you that you're not meant to be in that relationship. I mean, even though it might be traumatic, it might have a silver lining effect. But in any case, you might have some kind of loss that you have to grieve. Yeah, you had a lunar eclipse here. This was the last eclipse in Scorpio in that fourth house. So maybe it is something along those lines. And you still are reeling from it, but it has got you thinking about your life as a whole. and you're able to imagine changing other things in your life. But some of you may need to really fully grieve something, because if you have been very busy and you haven't really tuned into yourself, you may still be sad, and maybe you're taking these actions that are not aligned with what you should be doing. Because then I look at the card that crosses you, and we have the wheel, which is the Wheel of Fortune, but it's in the challenge position. So to me, this is like talking about timing. When is something aligned and when isn't? And usually we would say that someone who is trying to make something happen at a time when, let's say you launched something and it didn't yield you the returns that you wanted, or even if you started a relationship with someone and it didn't really take off and it just seemed to go downhill from that it was not the cycle was not in alignment with where you were at that time. An example of that would be if somebody is a widow or widower and they immediately try to jump into a relationship, or maybe even like a divorce, or something like that, a breakup, and they have someone else comes into their life and they decide just to get involved with that person. That may not be good timing, because they may still be in the mourning stage. And so everything that follows from that may be kind of off. And when that happens, it's a good thing to be aware of that, so that you can kind of like say, okay, I'm putting this on, I'm halting this. So if, for instance, you have been in an unhappy marriage, the Empress can be love. So you may have, fallen in love with somebody else, some coworker, whatever, someone else. And you're like, okay, I'm going to leave my marriage. It's not to say that you should stay in your marriage. It's to say, whoa, slow down, because this person might be kind of like a rebound situation. That would be especially if you were not the one that chose to leave the other relationship. But sometimes, even like when you're very unhappy, you may not know this consciously, but you're falling in love with somebody new because you're choosing that person as a bridge to leave your current relationship with, so that but not be alone. And sometimes being alone is the most therapeutic thing you can do. And being with somebody else, even if you don't consider it a serious relationship, the Empress would suggest otherwise, though, almost like there is that love connection. But it's just like everything, the timing is off. You're not legally separated from that person, and so it's not, and you haven't emotionally processed it with the Five of Cups, so that you have to do that. What is coming in? The Ten of Cups. This is a card of marriage, a card of family harmony, and also a card of happily ever after. So there's that kind of closure, that kind of feeling of everything, being as it should be, that resolution. And then the outcome card is the Justice card. So the wheels of justice are turning in your favor, and something may come, your pot at the end of the rainbow, the thing that not only you, but if you have children, especially if you're raising them, it can come out of this, some kind of sadness that maybe you have experienced with the loss of a relationship or the loss of a dream that you had hoped that a particular relationship would be, and you're moving forward and you're restoring balance to your life, because you may have been in a relationship that made your home life very uncomfortable, and now things are in a better place for you, Leo. So that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I have some package deals with astrology, and actually one with astrology and the tarot. So please check out my website for those, as well as my standalone readings. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.